My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of Guillermo del Toro's filmography from worst to best. And this video will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I find him to be a very frustrating filmmaker because he is a great craftsman. Like, almost all his movies look great. Almost all his movies have great practical effects and production design and costumes. The man has got a vision. But some of his movies just have terrible scripts that really drag it down. And I don't know. I really do like most of his movies actually, but man, there are some stinkers here. So let's begin by talking about his worst movie, and this is going to be a scorching hot take, but it's The Devil's Backbone. I'm sorry, I found this movie to be so fucking boring. Like, I never cared about anything going on, and I think it's about 2 hours long. It felt like 4. Like, I was just waiting for this movie to end, and I watched it just a few months ago, and I remember nothing about it. So that's why it's his worst movie. His second worst movie is Mimic. And this movie has such great potential, but the execution just sucks. Everybody gives a flat, boring performance. The CGI sucks. It's never tense, it's never thrilling, it's just a real slog to get through, so that's why it's his second worst. His third worst movie is Chronos, and this movie also had great potential. This could have been a real cool body horror, but in its execution, it's just lacking in every sense. I never found this movie to be engaging or interesting or effective, and it's just a movie I will never watch again. His fourth worst movie is actually his best picture winner, The Shape of Water. Now, I will say this. This movie is beautifully crafted. The sets, the makeup, and the music here is so good. And I do believe there are some great moments, but the script is just dreadful. I hate how it's trying to tell a story about marginalized people by using this forbidden romance between a woman and a fish creature, and it just feels really tone deaf. Because, look, at the end of the day, nobody should be fucking a fish. They just shouldn't, and I feel like this movie crosses a few lines and tries to paint it as romantic, and yeah, that's where the movie loses me. So, very well directed, but too much fish sex for my liking. His ninth best movie. Okay, so from this point on, I do like his movies enough, but number 9 is Nightmare Alley. And I just rewatched this movie, and I will never rewatch it again. The first hour is really great. I love the setting of the carnival. The production design is top notch. And Bradley Cooper gives one of his best performances here. And the ending is quite effective. Well, he gets a job as a geek. Like, they really make that idea so unsettling at the beginning, so the ending has more weight to it. But after that first hour and just before the ending, I just feel like the movie loses me entirely. I never cared about the main plot, and I feel like the movie already said everything it had to say about exploding people in the first hour. So it just felt like it overstayed its welcome by 90 minutes. And 90 minutes is not a short time. No, that's a long time. So I kind of find this movie to be boring. Yeah, there's still enough here to like, but not one I'll go back to again. His 8th best movie, and I you will see a review for this movie next year, but it's Blade 2. And, okay, I find this movie to be a little weird how they completely retcons Whistler's death in the first movie, and Blade has to rescue him, and then he cures him of his vampirism, but then Blade already replaced him with Scud? Anyways, and I kind of like this dynamic between Spud and Whistler throughout the movie, but then the ending turns out Spud is evil, but Blade already knew, and this bomb that didn't work 10 seconds ago now works. The handling of that is just weird, and some of the supporting characters here are just as bland as they come, and the script is a bit of a mess. But Wesley Snipes still does a great job. I still like Chris Christopherson here. The action is really overdone, but it's still pretty entertaining, and there's some solid monster fun to have. So, not a great movie, definitely a step down from the first Blade, but I still enjoy it. His 7th best movie is another superhero one, and it's the original Hellboy. Now, I do like how weird and creative this movie is. It does have a vision on display. It can be a really fun movie, but I feel like the father-son storyline here is kind of weak. Hellboy doesn't really have much depth to him until the very end. The villains are really generic. The CGI doesn't hold up. And just for a movie of 2 hours one time, very little actually happens. So I still enjoy spending time with these characters. It looks pretty cool, but it definitely could have been better, but it's still a solid time. My 6th favorite movie of his is another movie I just rewatched a couple days ago, and it's Pinocchio. Now, I was disappointed by this movie on my first watch, probably because Pinocchio is one of my favorite Disney movies, and I was looking forward to seeing a new version of Pleasure Island and just seeing that iconic story brought to life in a new way, and it just wasn't what I was expecting. And on a rewatch, I was able to accept this movie more for what it is. Now, I still definitely find it messy, and some things could have been done better, but I did really come to care for these characters. I think the voice cast does a great job, and this movie just looks beautiful. The craft involved is just top notch, and I just like how at the end of the day, this is a movie about a father and son, and it's about grief and love and death, and those are ideas you can see in so many of his movies, and the ending really brings this movie home. Like when Pinocchio's immortal and his dad dies, and then Jiminy dies, and I don't know, it really affected me, and I really like the final song by Ewan McGregor. I forget what it's called, but it's a solid bop. And Ciao Papa is a fantastic song. That one has really grown on me. The rest of the songs, not so much, but yeah, a bit of an uneven movie, but still lots to love. His 5th best movie is Frankenstein. And this movie is good. Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to begin by talking about my negatives, because I feel like Victor Frankenstein was written terribly. Like, the entire idea of after his mom dies, he gets consumed by grief, and his brother was born after her death, so he doesn't know that pain, is such an interesting idea that you understand him. Yes, he's trying to get his future sister-in-law to have an affair with him, and yes, he is taking part in very bad stuff. But I still felt like there was a human core to his character, so when he suddenly started abusing the monster, it just felt jarring to me. Like, yeah, he's a flawed character, but this takes it to a new level where it threw me off guard. And then we get that big section where he's chasing the monster, and then at the end of the movie, they make amends and find peace with each other. I don't know, like, I didn't really buy that either. Like, he's not really a reflective man, and I don't know, sometimes it just felt like he was whatever the movie needed him to be. I also thought the wedding stuff at the end with the monster wanting a bride felt like it came out of nowhere, and Frankenstein's brother telling him that he's the real monster is a bit too heavy handed even for me. But man, does this movie look great. The sets, the visuals, the practical makeup all look fantastic. I kind of do like how Frankenstein's monster looks like the engineers from Prometheus. Jacob Elordi gives the best performance of 2025. He brings so much humanity to his character, and he really knocked it out of the park. And I really do love the story being told, and when it focuses on the monster and the blind man, like, just a complete home run. So there are so many great elements of this movie. I wish some of it was better, but it's still one you should definitely watch. His fourth best movie is Pacific Rim, and I kind of forgot just how good this movie looks. But holy shit, does this movie look great. Like, the visual effects, the production design, the colors, it is just a stunning movie to watch, especially on 4K. It sounds great, and some of the action here is so badass. I do like the world building as well, and it's just a fun monster movie. And I also do kind of like how they use the drift to explore the characters on a deeper level, but it can feel dry at times. It could have maybe been a little tighter, and some moments just feel off, but it's still a great movie. His third best movie is Crimson Peak, and it can feel dry. I do wish some of the performances were more over the top, and I kind of wish some plot elements were done a bit better, but as a gothic romance with some ghosts in it, it's really well done, and I just love the look of this movie so much. Like, the production design is just breathtaking, it's beautifully shot, and I love the color contrast of the red and white. Like, it is a movie I watch in admiration because it is such a work of art, and I'm still invested enough in the storyline to the point where it does really deliver for me. Not a home run, but still great. His second best movie is Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, and I also just rewatched this one, and I love it. I love how much creativity and imagination is on display. I really do love the look of this movie with some of the practical effects, especially the Angel of Death. The set design can be really cool, and it has just a cool adventure, supernatural vibe to it. But I also think this movie expands upon the characters in the original so incredibly well. They gave Abe Sapien a love story. There are relationship conflicts between Liz and Hellboy, and I think there's lots here about how love can make one selfish, but it can also bring out the best in people. I really do like the villain, and I like how he's connected to his twin sister. I like the world building on display. Johann is a really fun character, and there's some emotion here. Like, when everybody's mad at Hellboy for saving the baby, I feel like it actually really delivers there. So, yeah. It's a movie that's emotional and meaningful, but also lots of fun, and I also love the Tooth Fairy section. It also, like, fixed every issue I had with the original movie, so I love it. But his best movie is Pan's Labyrinth. This is one of the greatest movies ever made because it's a war movie where it feels horrific at times. It can be very unnerving and disturbing, and it focuses on the loss of innocence. But it's also a fantasy movie with rich world building and some really imaginative visuals. And the two just come together so perfectly. It's a movie where you can watch it and interpret different scenes different ways, and it manages to be emotional, it manages to be tragic, it manages to be disturbing, and it's so beautifully crafted top to bottom. This is Guillermo del Toro at his very best, and every performance here is just top notch. The villain here is truly despicable, and so many of his movies are about love and life and death and war and loss of innocence. And I don't know, I feel like this movie just encapsulates everything he has ever done so perfectly. So that's why it's my favorite movie of his. I've watched it plenty of times. I'll watch it plenty more times. It is just flawless. So that's my ranking of his filmography. But what's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin out.